Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Carlton Live. I am Trevor Wallard, and my very good friend, co-host, and all-round nice guy is John Rowe. Good evening to you, John. How are you this fine evening, sir?
Yes, good evening, Trev. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, doing absolutely fantastic. I hope I did that seamlessly, that little intro there, but we'll find out on the replay.
We will indeed. We will indeed. Our season is done and dusted. It's gone ski. It's all over. We'll talk about that at some stage during the show and how everyone feels about that, and sort of my thoughts about it being a wasted opportunity, which we've touched on before. But there's lots to talk about still with footy going on in the Blues, and lots of things happening. And the silly season for us is just starting. Good evening to our fantastic guests. Grego, he's a Carlton Live man. How are you, sir, my friend? Lee Case, g'day, Lee. Clinton Barton-McCrory, love you. Jason Allen, g'day, mate. Blake O'Halloran, thank you for joining us. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's going to be a big show. Ben McDonald, love you to be on our show as well. Thank you very much. I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of things to say as the show goes on. It's going to be a big show.
Yeah, it'll be a long one too, I think, today. But look, I'm relieved it's over. To be honest, I really wasn't enjoying the probably last half dozen games. It's just so frustrating to watch. Having the ball in our half for 20 minutes and not scoring, and then it goes down the other end and five goals, 6 goals. It happened too regular, and it became very, very frustrating, I thought.
100%. Wayne Cassar, good evening to you. Ben McDonald, how's things? Chris Dimitrovic, g'day, Chris. Craig Mortlock, how are you, champ? Adrian Hines is working tonight at Bogues, home of the Tour de France place getter, he says. Richie Porter. Oh, interesting stuff. I didn't know that. Deb O'Connor, what a day, she says. Correct. That's true. It's been a big day, and it's going to be a few big days to come.
So before you go on, I just wanted to add in something in there. Hasn't Curls Jr. gone mad? Hey, he's looking for an 11-month holiday. He'll come back this time next year, and that'll be it. Wow, what a big few days he's had. Anyway, get going. Good on him. Let's talk about him a little.
Yeah, why not? Andrew Lake, good evening to you, my friend and valued contributor and part of the team of Carlton Live and also to Blue Horizon. Scotty Nolan, g'day, Scotty, how are you? I wonder how everyone else is feeling about the end of our season. Is it relief, like you said, Johnny? Is it disappointment? Just how's everyone feeling about the wash up for our year? It's going to be interesting to see what your thoughts are. I don't know what you said about it long one. I need to get to bed, but we'll see what happens. Lino Dezina, love your stuff, mate. G'day, gents, he says. Hope everyone's as well. John Sillauer, g'day, John. Thank you very much for tuning in, mate. Love your stuff as well. It's good to see everyone up and about still for the show. As I said, it's going to be a big one. And the biggest news, obviously, that's come out of the last couple of days, and I'm sure everyone is realising that this is the biggest news, is that the big Bolt, the big Casbolt, has got another year to year contract, and we'll just do the double Cobra in celebration, won't we? That's surely got to be the biggest news in the last couple of days, mate.
Yeah, that's right. The biggest. He's done enough to get another year. I think it's not only from the form that he showed, particularly in the first half of the year, but got to think too that he's also insurance policies. We've only got 2 ruckmen, and you know how ruckmen are susceptible to injury. If they go down, then we're stuffed. So he's as much insurance policy until we get those 2 up and running. And I wouldn't be surprised if we rookied another ruckman, actually, a young bloke.
Disappointing it wasn't a 5-year contract for Levi, because I think he's probably has earned that. Wouldn't be a lot of planning to be able to be done in the Casbolt household from like year to year. It's that's sort of been his contract rollover every September, or or so, he rolls around for another year. So good on him. And yeah, you're right. He does deserve that year. He's in the last few weeks his form's been down, but that's been, I think, all round with the team. He's really done a good job this year and turning the season around.
Yeah. So the other big news, I'll break this now, and this is on a personal level, is I've been traded. So I'll be supporting the Tigers next year. And I look forward to a very long association with the Tigers, as in the Noosaville Tigers, because come January we're moving.
Yes, and we wish you the best of luck and congratulate you on your move. The Tigers probably, it's a bit. Maybe you can find someone else up there to support, but that's close enough if you can find at least an AFL team to support. But we will still have you here at Carlton Live, my friend. Is that the case?
Oh yeah. Not moving anywhere in terms of Carlton Live, except for the unfortunate downside to all of this is I won't be bringing you all the training notes anymore, so I won't see it unless there's COVID again.
No, mate, congratulations on the move. You're about one of about 3.5 million Melbournians that are going to go up to the Gold Coast at some stage now this year.
Yeah, Sunshine Coast we are. So just a couple of hours north of Brizzy there, and probably about 4 hours north of Gold Coast. So it's not out of the way if we happen to get some games up there. Hopefully we'll get the two up there and we'll enjoy that. But yeah, look, we'll be down all the time. We've got family and friends down here, and just making the move because we love the place up there, and really looking forward to if they'll accept me, looking forward to getting involved with the Queensland Supporters Group and the Sunshine Coast Supporters Group. So here we are, a tribute. Don't know if you can see that on camera. Hello to everyone in Hervey Bay in Queensland. Very top end of the Sunshine Coast, if you like. But good evening to everyone up there and everyone in Queensland. And look out, the roads are on the way.
I'm sure the Queensland supporters would love to have you. Cameron Thorne says it could be worse. It could be traded to the North Noosa Kangaroos. No one wants to go to any kind of Kangaroos. They're struggling big time. And Debbie O'Connor says the Kuparo Blues. Mate, is that a place up there? Maybe there is a Blues team you can get involved in up there.
There is a Blues team actually. Coolangatta. Okay. Coolangatta is CFC and in the blue.
Very good. Super yacht for the trip, says John Cillier. I don't know about that. He's not making enough money on here to do the super yacht. Johnny, is that you hiding something from me? Holding out on me with the super yacht?
Sorry, what was that?
John Cillier says, is your super yacht prep for the trip?
Yeah, nice.
Okay, so questions are thick and fast, and comments coming through. Lots to talk about. Okay, where do we start? Let's start with. Do you want to talk about the game first, or the delistings?
Yeah, I'm pretty much over the game. It was, it was.
Summed up our year, didn't it?
Hey,
it summed up our year. Playing the top team, really good performance. Die in the arse, lose. Yeah. It was a good article that you wrote. Hope everyone saw that. So have a look at that on our Facebook page. It really did sum it up. But I wanted to get everyone's thoughts on David Teague at halftime, giving them a bit of a spray. We haven't seen that before. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think in the media, I think Chris Fagan was probably. The media treated that kindly, that he knew when to pull the trigger and get the result out of his players. And I think David Teague did the same thing. He was a little bit over it, and he pulled the trigger, and we come out in that second half and was a little bit more competitive. You said you didn't shed a tear for Simo's last game.
Yeah. Again, this is a team sport. Like I'll cry like a baby when we win our next premiership. Probably when we win our next final, I will cry like a baby. You know, it, it was. It's probably good that he's gone out in such a fashion. And the reason why I say that is because you got Marchbank has just committed to another 2 years. He'll come back in hopefully. You've got Nick Newman who'll come back after a knee injury. I think it would have gone. The conversation would have gone the way of, well, we can't guarantee your seniors next year. So do you still want to be a part of it? Well, no. Okay, well, let's sort of walk away on that. I don't like the vitriol that David Teague got. He was sort of seen as the man to do it. As to pull the pin on Simpson's career, that's not his job, is it? I reckon he would have stuck his hand up and said, look, if this is going to happen, then I'm going to be the one to tell him because, he's been around the club a long time and that is my job to do that. So I reckon he was the messenger and did it the right way.
Yeah, there's lots of conjecture about, whether he was pushed. He said before the game that he did want to go on, but he didn't say it directly, but he said, in discussions with Tiggy that they decided that it might be the best thing or that it was the best thing. So I don't think we'll ever know the sort of call or the decisions and how that went down. It's leading towards thinking that Simo probably did have a hard conversation, and they did talk man to man, like you said, about the players that are coming through, Stocker, Newman, Marchbank, if Marchbank gets on the park, that is, and that they need to be ruthless in selection. And if his form happens to wane, then it would be a sad situation to see him omitted from the side. And those group that conversation would be a tough one, of course, but it might have just tipped Simo himself to say, look. Based on all those things, it might be the right time to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'd rather see him. I'd rather see him go out playing good footy. Unfortunately, not within a winning team and not playing finals, which I really would have loved to have seen. But I would have hated to have got to the stage that you were just talking about, where his form doesn't warrant his position and he plays out in the twos. I think I think the whole mystique and the whole love that we have for him would have just been tainted a little.
Look, on his form, you'd back him in for another year. But again, whether that form continued is the great unknown.
And it's succession planning. Like I say, you bring Marchbank into the team, you bring Nick Newman back into the team. I mean, even Williamson and SPS are now looking around to say, okay, where am I going to play type of thing. So, that's we've got no shortage of talent in that area, do we?
The problem is turning that talent into some kind of ongoing success, but that's a long story. Julian Muscat, I just want to raise a point that he makes and a question that he asks, something that I suppose I've touched on before and talking about the end of the season. Are we happy with 11th place? It technically is an improvement up the ladder. I've said this before. I'm not happy with 11th place. I think we've wasted opportunities. I think to scrape into 8th and make a final is something we could have done, and we just missed that opportunity thanks to the silly losses that we've had. Hawthorn and back in the end of the season, Adelaide. Silly losses that should never have happened. Close losses as well.
I agree with the silly losses, but it's now a pattern, and it's been widely vocalised, the pattern of leaking 5, 6, 7 goals every game, or for most games. You're never going to win a final nor a premiership doing that. That needs to be addressed in the off season. I've said it before. I don't think that this whole terminology around 100 minutes of football or 4 quarters of football, I don't think that we're addressing that right. You can't have domination for 100 minutes of football. You want to have that ability to change with the circumstances. The competition is so even. We got beaten by second round by the last team who could barely string a win together for most of the season. You only need to be off 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you're done. Your game's done. So we really need to address that. in the off season before we can go anywhere. Yeah, you can talk personnel, you can talk this, that, whatever. If we don't adjust that, you could have, every single person of the All Australian team in the team. It's not going to change things.
I don't think that's rocket science. It's a mix of understanding those trends when they occur and doing something about it straight away defensively, slowing down the game, and the other factor which you all know about is our lower level, I suppose, lower 5 or 6, 7 players just. They need to be up there consistently every week. They're flash in the pan week in, week out. One week they're bloody playing like Tony Motter, and next minute they're playing like can't think of any bad players' names, and don't want to sound derogatory, but they're just playing like they don't belong.
Yeah, playing like the Booraman thirds. But I'm starting to lose patience now with Cunningham. I've got to say, it's because of that exact reason that you said. There's no question on his potential. He's had a lot of injury, and he just doesn't seem to get a good run at it. Mm-hmm. But he had one game where he looked like it was an absolute world beater, albeit we talked about this last week that he's been played then out of position, hasn't been sent back into the middle, but still just barely holding on to his spot.
Yep. Adrian Hines makes a good point. It's a silly year. It's a funny year. A lot of teams had silly losses. The scoring's been low. There's other teams that have gone, periods where they've got kicked goals against them. It's a really, really funny year, and hard to gauge. And obviously we know that 2021 is now something in our sights, and it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, it will be. A couple of really good questions here that I just want to address before we go on. Sorry if I've missed any questions here, because I had a little bit of a monologue, as I like to do every show. Can we rookie Bezos? Yeah, I reckon that's very likely. I don't think he deserved a senior contract to start with. He should have just been rookie because he was a project player. He wasn't a ready-made player. So I can see that very, very likely happening. So it's not all over for Bezos. I don't see Finbar getting rookied. I think he'll go back to country footy. And this next question from Scotty Nolan, Stocker who? What's happening with Stocker? We did give up a bit, do you think? I don't think we gave up much, because we ended up turning those draft picks into another 3 players, being Philp, the big lad who was going to be pick number 4 did his knee and drifted all the way out, whose name escapes me, and the brain's really not working tonight. Been on the computer all day. But that turned that into 3 potentially very, very good players, so I don't think we gave up much at all. Stocker, he is, still needs to work on his fitness and still needs to work on his endurance. He's likely going to be the next Ed Curnow, and Ed Curnow is just a running machine, so he needs to get to that particular level. I haven't put a line through him whatsoever. I still think he's going to be a very, very good footballer. Playing off the back line is not his thing. He needs to get in and under and get dirty.
Okay, you've and a few people have mentioned Bezos. Let's jump into the delistings. You said Bezos. Who else did we lose? We lost Goddard. Probably no surprise there. Potential, I think, for him to hopefully find another home. I think he's still young enough, and there's still probably some teams could do with a player like him on their list. Darcy Lang, no real surprises there. There's so many ahead of him. He had a couple of opportunities, wasn't able to sort of grab the bull by the horns and really cement a spot. And who else did we lose? Finbar, of course. It was a mystifying selection for Finbar, and maybe started the rumblings with Steve Silvani within the club for that pick, given it was potentially a mate of Benny's. So, no real surprises there. The boys got to be part of a Carlton list, and we wish them best for the future, of course.
Yeah, yeah,
Any
absolutely.
surprises for you in that?
Sorry, say it again.
Any surprises out of that? And what will be probably the first round of delistings?
Yeah, look, that's a very important point before I go on. Is the first round. So my mail is very very good on this. It's just there will be stages of this rollout, simply because we don't know at the moment what the list sizes are going to be from the AFL. So anyone now who hasn't got a contract for 2021 will be sitting on the fence, and their future will depend entirely upon numbers now. So I didn't see there is really any surprises. I can see, like I said, I see BSOS might get rookied. Shane for Goddard, he just came in at exactly the wrong time as Liam Jones started to get good. I really rate him as a footballer, and he just would have fitted in seamlessly had Liam Jones not gone to the levels that he did. So it was just really really poor timing. Great footballer, great understanding of the game, massive body on him.
Mm.
Should have played football, but there was a bloke who kept him out.
I personally, I haven't seen Ben Silvani play. I've seen a bit of vision. That's all I've seen. I've spoke to some people who have seen him play. There's a mixed bag. The people who I do trust that have told me what they've seen about him say that he's just he's got so many good attributes that can be developed, and that he has potential to be a really good footballer. And that's like what you said in the first piece of this part of the story, was to stick him on the rookie list initially and just get him up through that. And maybe that's the decision that they've made, like you said. I think there's still a romance in footy. There's obviously discussions and conversations around Jack right now, which we'll get onto shortly. But from the people who I trust, who I've spoken to, that seen him play, that he's can be developed into a pretty good footballer. So hopefully, and he's had injuries, of course, and there's COVID this year. So I hope he gets another crack at it.
Yeah, I think if he doesn't at Carlton, there'll be another club that will easily take him as a rookie, easily.
That leads us to, and find it interesting you sort of mentioned in regards to the stages of the other contracts. We've today 10 Carlton players got contract. Well, the news came through from new contracts, which we probably knew a lot of those coming already. We knew Murph was going to get another contract. How do you sit with that one?
Yeah, but before we go on, I did make a note last night of one of the things I wanted to talk about was Sauce, and you kind of hit the nail on the head as well. But what I wanted to discuss was, as soon as Sauce left, that really put the writing on the wall for Ben for me. I thought, because of the commentary that was coming out, is that Sauce couldn't be involved in the hard conversations. So obviously that means there were hard conversations happening. So I pretty much saw the writing on the wall for Ben. But like I said, easily can be re-rookied.
Mm.
Okay. Now on to the 10 signings. I reckon that's brilliant by Curls Jr. He's getting rid of all the angst and all the worry, and just getting. He's very quiet, but just getting it done. Looks like Zach Williams, done. 10 players re-signed, done. I don't think there's any one of those 10 players that you would say, yeah, they don't deserve it. Murphy's probably there as insurance policy. I probably wouldn't have brought him on, but that's the only question mark that I would have over any of them. Absolutely love that Cottrell got a gig. Absolutely love that Josh Honey got a gig. Josh Honey may just be the droid we're looking for. It's just something about him. And don't forget that Tom Papley, with all this fanfare that's about Tom Papley, that he was a rookie. He came up through the rookie system as well. So there's potential there. But the one that I love most, and this went under the radar for everyone, was that Gibbo got upgraded. That was, to me, even still, I just love it. And it still gives me tingles that Gibbo got upgraded. I was really surprised last year that he and his management accepted another rookie contract because he was playing so much good senior football. So, hats off to him. He's done it the hard way. He's got himself a senior gig. He should have got a senior gig before a lot of those people that we've talked about already. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Can't wait to see him and his future.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head with that. Well deserved. He's worked really, really hard. Obviously, we know how hard he's worked, not only prior to getting into the system, our system, but through once he's become a Blue as well. Obviously, been shoved around in roles, in forward roles, that probably hasn't been accustomed to it, and has just put his head down and just done what needed to be done. So real workhorse, and he's hopefully going to be going forward and getting some more midfield time as our list and we progress next year.
Yeah, he'll just go ahead in leaps and bounds. I think that the first half of this season, I noted almost every week that when the chips were down, he was the first one to lay that important tackle or to get that ball out, that handball out that sent us forward. And you and I have talked at length on this show and privately about how much he should get more midfield time, because he's got just that grunt ability, I'm so proud of him.
Yep. So Newman was the other one, which was good. We know what he can bring to the side. Of course, we've mentioned Levi 1 year, which would have liked 3. That would have been nice. Ed Curnow goes around again, which is also well deserved. He's been a real asset to us this year, and he'll probably be top 5 in our BNF. I can understand Murph getting another year. That'll be his last next year. I'm pretty confident he'll get to his 300, and that'll be it. The surprise for me was Marchbank on a 2-year deal. I saw him be someone that might have been put up on the trade table. I think Andrew Lake said it this year, 46 games in 4 or 5 years. It hasn't been a fantastic output for Marchie. Just hasn't been able to get it on the park. But, we know what he does when he's out there and when he's fully fit. So, yeah, surprised that, he might have, he got an extra 2 or got 2.
I found that really encouraging. That was the other one that I really, really loved. That was the third one that I really loved. The second I'll talk about in a minute. But that obviously means we've done our due diligence and we've put him on ice for this year just to get his body right. And we understand that, okay, he's ready to go next year. That's what I get out of that message of signing in for 2 years is we realise he's ready to go. Otherwise, we would have done 1 year or, trade. I'm
not too sure about our medicos, and I've got something to say about that sometime in the show as well. But, yeah, hopefully you're right there. Mr. Plough, 3-year extension. Look, hasn't his last month of footy just been really, really good, and it's probably opened a few eyes up of a few Carlton supporters about thinking the way he plays and what he does and what he brings to the table, and just looking at his stats and overlooking some of his clangers, which do look ugly, we know. But 3 years for Mr. Plough is a good result too.
So that was the second one I was going to talk about that I absolutely loved. I've been a fan a long, long time of him. I don't see that his last month has been any different to the last few years that he's put in. He's just getting more exposure now, and people are, hating him less. I think he's just like as you see, and I reckon it's a fair pat on the back to shows like us who have just said, "Hang on, no, this is not right, not enough. Let's talk through the good that he actually does bring to the table." The club made a statement last year by he was 3rd in the BNF, and then that woke a few people up, and then it's not us in total, but just there's a lot of people around the Carlton community that are sort of saying, well, hang on a sec, do you actually watch how this bloke plays? Do you watch where he puts his body? Do you watch how he does those little touches that mean that the opposition doesn't go forward, or just stops, just repels an attack just by putting a fist to the ball? Things that you don't get. Get statted for. His job was amazing on Charlie Cameron on the weekend. You know, but that's a stuff that he does. He does a role. You know.
Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carlton Live. We are live, as you can tell by the unscripted, unrehearsed rabble that we are a lot of the time. Thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Lots to talk about. There's plenty of stuff that people want to get through. Eddie, JSOS, Mackay, Cripper. There's lots of things we're going to be getting through. Kennedy's another one on the agenda. So yes, we'll get through all those. Obviously, players that are coming to us. We'll talk about Zach Williams and some other targets we're potentially looking at, and some other delistings. So lots to get through. You mentioned, and I'm surprised at this because I think these sort of players are pretty much lay down the Zaz for new contracts. And let's start with Tommy Williamson. You still with us, Johnny?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're frozen, but you're still with us. Yeah.
Yeah. This program that we've got, mate. I'm going to be getting a bit of a refund on the link. It's just not working.
Okay.
So,
while you refresh your face, lucky you haven't got your RBF face going on. It's a good still image of you if you can refresh. Tom Williamson, what a fantastic game by him against Brisbane. It was just fantastic to see him move up the ground, play with a bit more freedom, a bit more run without having to necessarily play a bit of a lockdown role. We've been calling for that for some time, and I've earmarked him as a future midfielder, but that can progress gradually. I think he's only 21, and just seeing him run it down the wing, hit targets up, set up some goals, set up some goals, release players with some quick hands. That left foot just doesn't miss. It's he's got to be up there in the wing moving forward, and surely he's in line for a 2-year contract. I would hope.
Yeah, that's only. I would suggest that's only semantics, really, isn't it? It's just they'll just find a middle ground.
After his game against Brisbane, if I was his manager, I'd be saying, "Hello, Carlton. Maybe we should renegotiate the coin." That might be the delay. You still with us, mate?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, still got you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, outstanding game by him. Upside 21, got his body right after potentially looked like that there was some serious doubt on his playing future. Works really, really hard. Still got plenty of bulk to put on. He's fast. He's hard at the ball. He's aggressive too. I love his aggression. He doesn't take a backward step. Gives it to his opposition. And he's got plenty of spunk. So I think he should be getting a 2-year plus contract if it was me signing the dotted line.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, Jack Nunes is probably someone that's also he's out of contract. He's another one that you'd definitely go around again with him.
Yeah, I would. He's shown enough. Unfortunately, what I don't like is he keeps O'Brien out of the team. But he's done enough. Particularly, putting aside the miraculous clutch goal, he has popped up for a lot of those snaps around the body at exactly the right time that we needed a goal too. So, happy to keep him going.
Kennedy, here's an interesting one. Loved his game against Brisbane, and he does that, doesn't he? He pops up with those games, and also showed a bit of aggression. I think he's earned another year.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Simple.
Did you? I thought you might have frozen again there for a second. You want some thinking music?
Yeah. Look, it's just weighing it up. Like Zach Williams is coming in. Obviously, he won't play backline anymore, and I don't think he would have signed a contract with any club that did play him off a half back. He's done with that. It's time for him to play midfield. And just Kennedy, where does he sort of fit in? He's good backup. So yeah, another year.
Okay, this is getting harder. Eddie Betts probably is going around again. We would have heard something by now. Everything I've heard is he's going around for one more.
Yeah, that's everything I've heard as well. And I understand it. I mean, Jesus, no one's stepped up to that role. It's just succession planning. He'll come on again for another year. The point that I made last night as well is how much does he actually impact on the team, and and now becoming a destination club. People want to play football with him and to be guided by him, to be nurtured by him, to be mentored by him. And I just think how stupid are Adelaide getting rid of him. That in that last stage, because of those extra factors off the field that he brings. On the field, I reckon he's still got it. If we play quick football, we play direct football through the corridor, he just becomes unstoppable. And I can see that happening again. We didn't play that in the last 5 to 6 weeks. We've just got this annoying habit of going from the half-back line to the boundary, which allows every team to set up their defence, which is really pissing me off, but that's another question. Which means guys like Eddie, then they can't work their craft as well, which is getting into the right position, bit of space, do the miraculous.
With Harry marking everything, we won't need Eddie because we'll just kick it straight to Harry. He just won't be. He's going to be unstoppable with another bit of bulk too in the off season. Yeah,
look, he is obviously so important to our team. There was obviously a bit of tongue in cheek about his North Melbourne thing. He stopped following Carlton, started following North Melbourne. Bit of tongue in cheek. He's a cheeky lad. He's not going anywhere. Not going anywhere.
Love to hear your thoughts too, ladies and gentlemen, on the signings, the new signings. What should we be doing with the players that haven't got a contract? Craig Mortlock says Betts no. Interesting from you, Bong. Scotty Nolan says Nunes better overhead than Brian. Brendan Scott probably says a home truth too. Is about as stupid. Adelaide was about as stupid as we were originally to get rid of Eddie.
I can't disagree with that.
Well, I wonder what our side and club would have been like with Eddie still there. This could have been so different and interesting, and the vibe and the attack on the ball he gives you, and don't know. It's a really interesting one.
Can I weigh in there? Think about at the time that he left, though, is that you had Malthouse coming in playing this dour stop-start contested footy, punch it over the boundary line, another contest. Guy like Eddie Betts just wouldn't have fit in. He just would have been ground into the dust, and he would have ended up getting dropped. He would have ended up leaving anyway. He went on his terms. Well, not really, because he wanted to stay at Carlton, but he went at a good time, played a bit of good footy with Adelaide, played in a grand final. I think it worked out well for him because at the time that we were at, when he left, he wouldn't have fit in. No chance.
Very good point you make there. Trevor Levine says we would have been 396 goals better. That's a fair Yeah, look, he hasn't kicked goals in the last month, but his attack on the ball, he's definitely set up some goals. Our forward line has been dysfunctional. Our whole structure's been dysfunctional in that time as well. So I don't think we can begrudge, the goals not coming. He's got a fair bit of the ball.
Yeah, I just wanted to. This is a really good point.
Must be that good.
I got to take my hat off to Curls Jr. again, and to the club as a whole for supposedly getting Zach Williams over the line, because apparently North offered an out of control contract to him, and we couldn't match it. We didn't want to match it, and we actually actively told him, supposedly, that if money's your motivating factor, go. You don't have a spot here. We can't match it. We're not going to even try to match it. If money's your motivating factor, we don't want you.
Look, North could offer someone $100 million in gold bullion, and they wouldn't go there at the moment. They just sort of, it's not all about the coin, is it? And these players obviously are seeing that. North have just been terrible, and they can't attract a player. it's and the players are choosing. Players are choosing good destinations, potential good lists over the coin, aren't they?
Because you get to a stage where you've done your time at a club that hasn't been successful. You want to go to a club with success. It's just unfortunately the way the wheel is going.
Hello to Dylan Shield.
Yeah, well, sucked into him. But North Melbourne, they're at the stage we were 5 or 6 years ago. They really need to do hardcore rebuild, go to 3-4 drafts, get the best possible talent they can, and then it'll come again. They'll become a destination again. People will want to go there, but that's not now.
Betts would have been coaching if we have gotten Papley and Butler. We need good smalls who then push Betts to back up. He's Pied Piper things to come, not a destination club, but destination player, says Mac Champion. Butler's an interesting conversation. We'll never know what happened there, will we? It was a bit of a mishandling, I think, by the footy club, but maybe we told him we didn't want him with Papley in the works.
Yeah, from what I understand, it just went on too long with Butler, and he just said, "Well, I'll go somewhere else." I've frozen again.
Yep. Your frozen face looks much worse this time. You had a smile on your face last time.
Yeah, I look like I'm on the Persian rug right there. Let's get off this nonsense.
Okay.